Hi, myself Ramu from Chemistry Minds. If you want the PDF of this particular lecture, I have provided a link in the description box. You can go and download it. If you like the video, then please do like, share and subscribe to our channel Chemistry Minds. Hello students. Now, in the previous video, we completed two factors which affecting the chemical equilibrium constant. Okay. Now what are the factors affecting the equilibrium constant? Number one, mode of representation of a chemical reaction. Number two, stoichiometry of the reaction. Number three, temperature. Out of these three factors, we completed two factors, that is the mode of representation of a chemical reaction. That means when a reaction is reversed, then the equilibrium constant will be inverted. Okay. The second factor, stoichiometry of the reaction. Now when we multiply with a factor n of a chemical reaction on both sides, then the equilibrium constant of the new chemical reaction will be equal to the nth power, whatever the factor we are multiplying, that will be raised to the power of the previous equilibrium constant. Okay. Now next, if a reaction occurring in more than one steps, then each step individual equilibrium constants k1, k2, k3 so on. If we add all these equilibrium reactions to get the net reaction, then overall reaction, what is the equilibrium constant, will be the product of the each individual step equilibrium constant. Okay. Now after that, we have the third factor, that is the effect of the temperature on the equilibrium constant, that is dependence of equilibrium constant on temperature. This is very important for objective point of view. Okay. Now here, let's suppose I have a reaction A gives, that is A equilibrium B. Okay. Now the forward reaction rate constant Kf and backward reaction rate constant is Kb. What is the Kf? Rate constant. Rate constant of forward reaction. What is the Kb? Rate constant of backward reaction. Okay. Now here rate of disappearance of A. What is the rate of disappearance of A? That is the change in concentration of A with respect to the small time interval. Okay, this is the rate of disappearance of A. So disappearance in the sense the concentration of reactant slowly decreases, that's why we are using the disappearance, that is the negative sign represent. Okay. Now the rate of disappearance of A, indirectly rate of the reaction, will be equal to the rate of forward reaction minus rate of backward reaction. Okay. Now here minus dA by dt is equal to, here what is the rate of forward reaction? Now we know rate is directly proportional to concentration of the reactants. Okay. Now rate is equal to some proportionality constant multiplied by concentration of the reactants. Okay. Now here rate of forward reaction, in the forward reaction, what is the concentration of the species? A. So constant K will be Kf times of the active mass of A, minus reverse reaction, backward reaction, Kb times of the active mass B. Okay. Now we know at equilibrium there will be no change in the concentration of species. All the concentration of the species become what? Constant. So there will be no change in the concentration of reactant A. So I am taking the rate of disappearance of A is equal to 0. So by bring this value in the above expression, 0 equal to Kf into A concentration minus Kb into B concentration. From here, shall I write Kf by Kb is equal to concentration of B upon concentration of A. Otherwise, we can directly use the product of the concentration of the products divided by reactant. What is the product of the concentration of the products? B divided by A. That is the equilibrium constant. Okay. So from here, what I am writing, Kc, that is the equilibrium constant, which is the rate constant ratio of the forward reaction to that of the reverse reaction, that is the backward reaction. Okay. Now after this, there is one important equation that is known as Arrhenius equation. That is known as Arrhenius equation. From Arrhenius equation, what is the Arrhenius equation? From the Arrhenius equation, K is equal to A into e to the power minus Ea divided by RT. This expression is known as Arrhenius equation. Now we have the derivation of this expression in chemical kinetics chapter. So now we are directly using this equation. Now in this expression, what are the different values? K corresponding to rate constant. It is also known as velocity constant. It is also known as what? Velocity constant. Number 1. Number 2, A is a Arrhenius constant. What? Arrhenius constant. It is also known as frequency factor. It is also known as pre-exponential factor. Okay. Now what is the EA? EA corresponding to activation energy. What is the definition of activation energy? For any reaction to take place, at least some minimum amount of energy required. So the energy which is the minimum energy required for any reaction to perform is a activation energy, is known as what? Activation energy. Are you getting my point? Now here R is a universal gas constant and T is the absolute temperature. That is the Kelvin temperature. This equation is known as Arrhenius equation. That is the K is equal to A into e to the power minus Ea by RT. Now in this expression, A, capital A, gives us number of reactant molecules colliding, number of reacting molecules colliding in unit time in unit volume. This is also known as a collision frequency. This is also known as what? Collision frequency. Okay. For a particular reaction for a particular reaction, capital A is constant. For a particular reaction, capital A is constant and is independent on temperature and is independent on temperature. Okay, next one more point is there. For a particular reaction, activation energy, that is called EA. What is the EA? Activation energy is constant and is independent on temperature. Okay, now generally activation energy depending upon the nature of the reacting substances. Okay, now the important thing is the rate constant. K is a function of temperature. This is very important. K is that is the rate constant is a function of temperature. In generally, as the temperature increases, rate constant of a reaction also increases. This is very important. Rate constant of a reaction is directly proportional to absolute temperature, that is the Kelvin temperature. So the effect of temperature on the rate of a reaction we will discuss in the chemical kinetics chapter. That is very important. Okay, now here you see what is the equilibrium constant formula? Rate constant of forward reaction divided by rate constant of the backward reaction. Okay, now before going to that, rate constant forward and backward depend on temperature and catalyst. Now just now I told you, as the temperature increases, rate constant of a reaction also increases, both for rate constant for forward as well as rate constant for backward. And also catalyst. Do you know what is the definition of a catalyst? It is a substance which increases rate of a chemical reaction. If the rate of a reaction increases, obviously rate constant also increases. Okay, now number 2, K equilibria depends only on temperature, Okay, now here for first of all we will see endothermic. For endothermic reactions, what are the endothermic reactions? Those reactions which occurs by absorption of heat energy. For endothermic reactions, if you see the K equilibrium, what happens? Kf by Kb ratio. So in endothermic reaction, that means when we supply the heat in the form of temperature, that means when we increase the temperature, rate constant of both forward reaction as well as backward reaction increases. But the increment in the rate of forward reaction will be more than that of the rate of the backward reaction. That's why the resultant equilibrium constant value increases in endothermic reaction, increasing of temperature. Are you getting my point? Increasing of temperature. What we are doing here? Increasing temperature in endothermic reaction, equilibrium constant value increases. But for exothermic reaction, K equilibria Kf by Kb. Now in exothermic reaction, the reactions in which heat energy liberates, heat energy evolved. So in this situation, what happens? If you raise the temperature, both rate constant of forward reaction and backward reaction both increases, but the rate constant of the forward reaction increases less as compared to rate constant of the backward reaction. That means overall the equilibrium constant value decreases if you increasing temperature. Are you getting my point? So we will explain by mathematical proof also. Okay, you may have one doubt, sir, Kf and Kb both are increases because both are depend on what temperature. When we increase the temperature, the rate constant should always increases, but depending upon the type of the reaction, endothermic or exothermic, in endothermic reaction Kf more increases than the Kb. That's why the resultant K equilibria will increase. But whereas in exothermic, the Kf increment compared to Kb increment, Kf increment will be less. That means Kb increment will be more. That means overall the value become decrease. Are you getting my point? Now this is very important. Okay. Now here, once again I am writing the Arrhenius equation. K is equal to A into e to the power minus Ea by RT. Okay. Now here I am writing forward and backward reaction. Now forward reaction Kf is equal to AF e to the power minus Ea. I am writing in the bracket F. That means this is the activation energy for forward reaction only. F stands for forward reaction. Similarly, for backward reaction Kb is equal to AB e to the power minus Ea bracket B. That is the activation energy for backward reaction EAB whole divided by what? RT. Okay. Now what is the K equilibrium formula? Kf by Kb. So what I am writing here? AF, that is the frequency factor in forward reaction, multiplied by e to the power of minus Ea forward reaction activation energy whole divided by RT whole divided by activation frequency factor in backward reaction AB e to the power of minus Ea in bracket B, that is the backward reaction, divided by RT. Okay. Now here what I am writing here, so AF by AB I am writing a constant A. Okay. E to the power, what I am writing, minus Ea F by RT minus Ea B by RT. So I am writing here, I am taking the minus common. Okay. Now here K equilibrium is equal to A into e to the power minus of Ea F minus Ea b whole divided by RT. Are you getting my point? LCM is RT. Now here, what I am writing here, K equilibrium is equal to A into e to the power minus delta H by RT. Delta H by RT. So this is a very important equation. What is the delta H? Enthalpy of the reaction. What is the delta H? Enthalpy of the reaction. Delta H is equal to activation energy of forward reaction minus of activation energy of the backward or reverse reaction. Okay, now here this delta H is known as enthalpy of the reaction. Enthalpy of the reaction. Okay, now here if you apply the logarithm on both sides, ln K equilibria, I am writing just K, ln, this is in the form of AB, log AB nothing but log A plus log B, ln A plus ln e to the power minus delta H by RT. Remember, logarithm, natural logarithm to the base E, we can write ln, that is the ln. That is the ln. Are you getting my point? Now, ln K is equal to ln A minus delta H upon RT. So, I am writing ln K is equal to minus delta H whole divided by R into 1 by T plus ln A. So this is a very useful expression. This is a very useful expression. Okay, the relation between the logarithm K, ln K versus absolute temperature. Absolute temperature. Okay, now in the differentiation form, I am writing d by dt of ln K is equal to, now what is the differentiation of 1 by T? Minus 1 by T square. That is the differentiation of 1 by X is minus 1 by X square. So I am writing this is delta H whole divided by RT square. So ln A is a constant. For the differentiation of constant is 0. The differentiation of a constant is what? 0. Okay. This equation is called Van 't Hoff's equation. This equation is called what? Van 't Hoff equation. Okay. Now here, if you want to convert the logarithm to the base E into base 10, we have to multiply with 2.303. So here 2.303, now this will be log K to the base 10. If the log E, that is the log K base E converted to log K base 10, then we have to multiply with 2.303. Next, minus delta H by capital R into 1 by T. Here also 2.303 log A to the base 10. Log A to the base 10. Now what I am writing here, log K to the base 10 is equal to minus delta H divided by 2.303 capital R. I am writing 1 by T outside plus log A. So this is also, this is the logarithm K with base 10. Base 10. Okay. Now this is in the form of y is equal to, this is in the form of y is equal to mx plus c. This is in the form of y is equal to mx plus c. Okay, I will tell you how to draw the graph also. Okay, now come to, this is the ln k. Okay, ln k. Now this is the log k and above expression is the ln k. Let's suppose we have two different temperatures T1 and T2. Let's suppose at T1 temperature I am taking the equilibrium constant K1, that is the log K1. Whenever I am writing the log, that is indirectly base 10. Okay, minus delta H whole divided by 2.303 capital R into 1 by T1 plus log A. Okay, log A is a constant. Okay, now suppose I am taking another temperature T2 Kelvin where equilibrium constant will be K2. So log K2 is equal to minus delta H whole divided by 2.303 capital R into 1 by T2 plus log A. Okay, this is the equation 1. This is the equation 2. Okay, in equation 1, in equation 2, K1 equilibrium constant where at T1 Kelvin temperature, and K2 is the equilibrium constant at T2 Kelvin temperature. Okay, now what I am doing here, 2 minus 1, equation 2 minus equation 1, on the left side log K2 minus log K1, log A minus log B, log of A by B. So I am writing log of K2 upon K1. I am writing what? Log of K2 upon K1. Okay, now here log A gets cancelled. So finally what I am writing here, delta H whole divided by 2.303 capital R. Okay, multiplied by 1 by T1 minus 1 by T2. So this is a very important relation between the equilibrium constant versus temperature. Equilibrium constant versus what? Temperature. Okay, now here the relation between K1, K2 and temperatures. Okay, now here we have first case. Let's suppose we have first case endothermic reactions. Which reactions? Endothermic reactions. In endothermic reactions, let's suppose temperature increases. What I am doing here? Increasing the temperature. Do you know in thermodynamics, for endothermic reaction the delta H value is positive. Okay, on the right side the LCM T1 T2, so numerator T2 minus T1, T2 minus T1 is positive, del H will be positive, positive into positive, positive. That means the log of K2 by K1 is greater than 0. That means K2, log K2 should be greater than log K1. That means K2 should be greater than K1. Okay, now this is the relation between temperature and equilibrium constant. What you are doing? You are increasing the temperature. Then what about the equilibrium constant? Also increases. This is very important for endothermic reaction. So in short notation, what I am writing here, for endothermic reactions, as the temperature increases, equilibrium constant also increases. Equilibrium constant also increases. This is a very important statement. This is a very important statement. In endothermic reactions, as the temperature increases, the equilibrium constant also increases. So shall I write K equilibrium, that is the equilibrium constant, directly proportional to temperature for endothermic reactions. In endothermic reactions, what happens? Generally, we increase the temperature. Okay, when we increase the temperature, the reaction favors. That means in endothermic reactions, as the temperature increases, the equilibrium constant value also increases. So this is already I told you here in the beginning. Here in endothermic reactions, increasing of temperature, equilibrium constant also increases. Okay, in exothermic reactions, increasing of temperature, equilibrium constant will be decreases. Okay, now we are explaining with the proof, with mathematical proof. Okay, this is the case 1. This is the first case. Come to second case. In the second case, let's suppose exothermic reactions. Exothermic reactions. Again, what we are doing? Increasing the temperature. In exothermic reactions, from thermodynamics, we know delta H value negative. Delta H value is negative. If the delta H value negative, that means the logarithm of K2 upon K1 should be less than 0. That means log of K2 should be less than log of K1. That means K2 should be less than K1. This is for exothermic reaction. What happens in exothermic reaction? As the temperature increases, the equilibrium constant decreases. For exothermic reactions, as the temperature increases, equilibrium constant, what happens? Decreases. This is a important statement. In exothermic reactions, as the temperature increases, then equilibrium constant, what happens? Decreases. That means K equilibria is inversely proportional to 1 by temperature. Here K equilibria directly proportional to temperature. K equilibria directly proportional temperature in endothermic reaction. K equilibria inversely proportional to temperature. Where? In endothermic reaction. This is a very short notation to remember. Now one more case is there. Let's suppose neither exothermic, neither exothermic nor endothermic. That means here still you are raising the temperature. Let's suppose neither exothermic nor endothermic means delta H value should be equal to 0. When the delta H value is 0, put the delta H value in this expression. On the complete right side you will get the 0. So log of K2 upon K1 equal to log of K2 upon K1 is equal to 0. That means K2 by K1 is equal to 1. That means K1 equal to K2. That means even though if you increase the temperature, but the equilibrium constant do not changes. That means this reaction is neither exothermic nor endothermic, that means equilibrium constant is independent on the temperature. In which reactions? Neither exothermic nor endothermic reactions. Are you getting my point? Now, that means there is no effect of temperature, therefore there is no effect of temperature on the equilibrium constant, okay. Now come to some graphical representation. Here, how to represent the exothermic reactions and endothermic reactions. Let's suppose I am drawing a graph. On the y-axis, I am taking the potential energy of the system. On the x-axis, reaction coordinate, that is the progress of the reaction. Reaction coordinate. This is the x-axis. This is the y-axis. Okay. Now here in exothermic reactions, the reactants have more energy and products will have less energy. Now these reactants, they cross a energy barrier, okay, and they convert it into products. Now this is the highest energy of the system, okay. Now here if you see from here to here, that means the energy difference between the reactants and the highest energy, that is the transition state here. It is called activation energy of forward reaction, F. Okay. Now come to the energy difference between the products and transition state is the activation energy of the backward reaction. Is what? Backward reaction. Okay. Similarly, one more graph I am drawing, that is endothermic reaction. Same, on the x-axis, reaction coordinate, on the y-axis, potential energy. Okay. Now this is the reactants energy, this will be the products energy. In endothermic reaction, products will have more energy as compared to what? Reactants. Okay. Now here the reactants cross certain energy barrier and they converted into what? Products. Okay. Now this is the highest energy of the system. This is the transition state. Now the energy difference between the reactants and transition state. Reactants and transition state is called activation energy of the forward reaction. Now here this will be the activation energy of the reverse reaction or backward reaction. Okay. Now the first reaction corresponding to exothermic reaction and second one corresponding to endothermic reaction. Okay. Now the difference between the energy of the reactants and this is the energy of the reactants, this will be the energy of the products. The energy difference between these two is called enthalpy of the reaction. The energy difference between the reactants and products is called what? Enthalpy of the reaction, delta H. Now here, the delta H value, what I am writing here, activation energy of forward reaction minus activation energy of the backward reaction. This is the direct formula. The energy of activation of the forward reaction minus the energy of activation of the backward reaction. Now in the first graph, if you see, the activation energy of forward reaction will be less and backward reaction will be very high. So first case, that is the graph number 1, activation energy of the forward reaction is less than the activation energy of the backward reaction. Then obviously the delta H value you will get negative. That means exothermic reaction. Okay. Now graph number 2, if you see, the activation energy of forward reaction is greater than the activation energy of the backward reaction. In the second graph you see, that means in this the delta H value become positive, which is known as endothermic reaction. Endothermic reaction. Okay. Now here, if the activation energy of the forward reaction is less and backward reaction is more, then this will be exothermic reaction. If the activation energy of the forward reaction is more and backward reaction is less, that is called endothermic reaction. Okay. Now here log K is equal to or ln. Okay, I am taking log K. Log K is equal to minus delta H whole divided by 2.303 capital R multiplied by 1 by T plus log A. This is the base 10. This will be what? Base 10. This expression already we know. From Arrhenius equation we derive this expression in terms of ln, that is the log base E, and in terms of log log to the base 10. Now I am drawing this graph. This is in the form of y is equal to what? mx plus c. Okay. Now again on the y-axis logarithm k, that is the equilibrium constant. On the x-axis 1 by t. On the x-axis I am taking 1 by t value. On the y-axis I am taking the log of equilibrium constant to the base 10. Log of equilibrium constant to the base 10. Now here in the first graph, let's suppose exothermic reaction. Let's suppose what? Exothermic reaction. In exothermic reaction, delta H has negative sign. So negative into negative you will get positive. That means you have a straight line with positive slope. That means this is a straight line. Okay, having the slope positive slope. Okay. Now what is the slope here? Minus delta H whole divided by 2.303 capital R. Suppose if you draw the graph between ln K, then in the denominator there should not be 2.303. Only the slope will be minus delta H by capital R. Okay. Now from here to here, this is called intercept on the y-axis, which is nothing but log A to the base 10. Okay. This reaction is corresponding to exothermic reaction. Exothermic reaction. Now come to second reaction. Now in the second reaction, let's suppose endothermic reaction. In endothermic reaction, del H is positive, positive into negative, negative. That means you have a straight line with negative slope. You have a straight line with what? Negative slope. Okay. Now here the slope will be equal to minus delta H by 2.303 capital R. If the ln k is taken on the y-axis, then the slope becomes minus delta H by capital R only. This is very important. 2.303 is not considered. This reaction is what? Endothermic reaction. Endothermic reaction. Now, suppose if you have any doubt to identify which is exothermic, which is endothermic, I will tell you one simple trick. Now, on the x-axis, if you move from 0 to far away on the x-axis, 1 by t value what happens? Increases. 1 by t increases means t decreases. T decreases, but here the log k increases. Log k increases means k increases. T decreases, k increases. That means k and t inversely proportional. That means this is exothermic reaction. In forward direction, along the x-axis 1 by t increases means t decreases. T decreases. Here log k is also decreases. Log k decreases means k is also decreases. That means temperature and equilibrium constant are directly proportional, which is nothing but the endothermic reaction. Isn't it? It is very easy to distinguish the graph. Don't be confused. First graph is endothermic or exothermic, or second graph is exothermic or endothermic. Okay. Now here one more important thing, the delta H and capital R. The units of delta H, note, delta H and capital R should have same unit. This is very important. Now generally R is a ideal gas constant. General ideal gas constant value in liter atmosphere we will use 0.0821 liter atm per mole per Kelvin. But here the capital R value should be taken in the units of the delta H. Delta H, enthalpy of the reaction. Enthalpy of a reaction generally energy terms, that means kilocalorie, kilojoule, joule, calorie, isn't it, in which capital R value is also taken. Okay. Now here from thermodynamics. In thermodynamics we have Gibbs free energy or change in Gibbs free energy. From thermodynamics, delta G is equal to delta Z naught plus R T ln QC. This expression, very important expression, which is used in thermodynamics. Okay. Now here what are the delta G? Delta G nothing but change in Gibbs energy. It is a thermodynamic function. Gibbs energy is a thermodynamic function. Delta G naught again change in Gibbs energy in standard condition, in standard state. Okay. R we know gas constant, T is the absolute temperature, and what is the QC? QC is called reaction coefficient. Reaction coefficient is nothing but simply like equilibrium constant, that is the concentration of the products whole divided by concentration of what? Reactant. But the condition here, at any time interval, at any time except to equilibrium, this expression is called equilibrium constant. Other than equilibrium condition, it is called reaction coefficient. Okay. Now in the above expression, let's suppose we are dealing with equilibrium condition. At equilibrium, do you know one of the important characteristics of equilibrium? Change in Gibbs free energy is 0. If you bring the delta G 0, and one more important thing, at equilibrium, just now I told you QC equal to equilibrium constant, that is the Kc, or sometimes Kp also. So here 0 is equal to delta G naught plus RT ln K equilibrium. From here delta G naught is equal to minus RT ln K equilibrium. This is a very important expression, especially the relation between the standard state Gibbs energy change versus equilibrium constant. Okay, now it is, I am writing delta G naught is equal to minus 2.303 RT log of K equilibrium. This is also one of the important relation. Okay, the first relation we have ln, that is the logarithm to the base e. In the second relation we have log to the base, log K equilibrium to the base 10. And one more important formula from thermodynamics, that is delta G naught, that is what? Delta G naught. Delta G naught is equal to delta H naught minus T delta S naught. This is the standard condition. What is the delta G naught? Gibbs energy change in the standard condition. What is the delta G? What is the delta G? Delta H naught, that is the change in enthalpy under standard condition. Delta S, change in entropy. Superscript 0, nothing but standard condition. Okay, from this expression and from this expression, what I am writing here, delta G naught on the left side is same, so I am writing delta H naught minus T delta S naught equal to minus 2.303 RT log K equilibrium to the base what? 10. K equilibrium to the base 10. Okay, from here what I am writing, log K equilibrium will be equal to minus delta H naught whole divided by 2.303 capital R multiplied by, I am writing 1 by T because T variable, then K variable. Okay, plus delta S naught whole divided by 2.303 capital R. Okay, this is a very important expression. Now in this expression we have equilibrium constant, enthalpy of the reaction, and entropy of the reaction. Enthalpy of the reaction and entropy of the reaction. Suppose if I am taking the ln K equilibrium, then we should not write the 2.303. If we write the base 10, then we have to write the 2.303. Are you getting my point? Now here also we can draw the graph. Here, just wait, I am writing in the next page. Now here I am drawing a graph between log K versus 1 by temperature. Okay, now this is the log k to the base 10, there is a log k equivalent to the base 10 versus 1 by t versus what? 1 by t. Now here there are two types of reactions, number one exothermic, number two endothermic. Again this expression is considered as a y is equal to what? Mx plus c. Okay, now again the straight line, in the first case positive slope, whereas in the second case negative slope. Okay, now the what is the slope here? Minus delta H naught whole divided by 2.303 capital R. Here also what is the slope here? Same, minus delta H naught by 2.303 capital R. Now what is the intercept on the y-axis here? That is the delta S naught whole divided by 2.303 capital R. Here also intercept on the y-axis delta S naught whole divided by delta S naught whole divided by 2.303 capital R. Suppose in the question, if the slope value given to you, can you find the delta H naught value? Yes, because R value we know. Okay, now from the intercept value, can you find the delta S naught value? Yes, that is a very important question. Now here R value, universal gas constant value 8.314 joule mole inverse Kelvin inverse. Otherwise 8.314 into 10 raised to minus 3 kilojoule per mole per Kelvin. R value 2 calorie mole inverse Kelvin inverse. R value 2 into 10 raised to minus 3 kilocalorie mole inverse Kelvin. And one more important, 1 calorie is equal to approximately 4.184 joule. This is very important. So the R value should be either in kilocalories or kilojoule or ergs or kilo ergs, etc. Okay, now here I am writing here in this graph expression, first graph corresponding to what? Exothermic reaction. Second graph corresponding to what? Endothermic reaction. If you have any doubt, again same concept. You see, on the x-axis 1 by t value increases, 1 by t increases means t decreases, but log k increases means k increases, t decreases, k increases, inversely proportional. That means exothermic reaction. Are you getting my point? Now in the second case, 1 by t increases means t decreases, log k decreases, k is also decreased. That means equilibrium constant directly proportional to temperature. That is the endothermic reaction. So exothermic reaction and endothermic reaction. Are you getting my point? Now here one more important thing. Here delta G naught is equal to minus 2.303 RT log of K equilibrium. Okay, this is the expression here I am writing. Okay, now in this expression, if the K equilibrium value greater than 1, if the K equilibrium value greater than 1, then log of K equilibrium value should be positive. So positive into negative, negative. So delta G naught will be negative. That means the process become spontaneous. The process become what? Spontaneous. If the K equilibrium is less than 1, then log of K equilibrium will be negative. Negative into negative become positive. So delta G naught positive. The process become non-spontaneous. The process become what? Non-spontaneous. The process become what? Non-spontaneous. Non-spontaneous. Are you getting my point? Now here some problems are there regarding the calculation of the equilibrium constant when the temperature data is given to you. Okay, now here this is the first problem. The equilibrium constant for the reaction 2C3H8 equilibrium of C2H4 plus C4H8 gas is found to fit in the expression ln K minus 1.04 minus 1088 Kelvin divided by temperature. Then calculate the standard reaction enthalpy and entropy. Okay, now I derive the relation between ln K versus what? Temperature. Okay, now ln K equilibrium is equal to, shall write, minus delta H naught whole divided by capital R only, because we should not take the 2.303. Why? Because there is a ln. Okay, into 1 by T plus delta S naught by capital R. We should not use the 2.303. Now the given expression, what I am given condition, ln, this is the ln K. Now I am writing 1088 Kelvin upon 1 by T plus I am writing minus 1.04. Okay, now compare these two expressions. From these two expressions, delta H naught whole divided by capital R is equal to 1088. From this is the first one. Okay, now second one, delta S naught by capital R is equal to minus 1.04. Okay, from here delta H naught is equal to 1088 into capital R. Okay, now 1088 into capital R value in terms of joule, 8.314 joule, divided by 1000. If you write, you will get in kilojoule. Okay, now the answer is 9.045 kilojoule per mole. Kilojoule per mole. Okay, now here delta S naught is equal to minus 1.04 into capital R, minus 1.04 into capital value 8.314. I am writing in joule, so approximately minus 8.64 joule mole inverse Kelvin inverse. This is very important. So we have to know the relation between ln K or log K versus delta H and delta S. Are you getting my point? This is very important. Okay, now come to second problem. In the second problem, variation of equilibrium constant K with temperature again. Okay, log K is equal to log A minus of delta H naught by 2.303 RT. Okay, now a graph is drawn between log k versus 1 by t straight line with negative slope 0.5 and intercept is 10. Then calculate the delta H naught pre-exponential factor, that is the capital A, equilibrium constant 298 Kelvin and equilibrium constant at 798 Kelvin, assuming delta H naught is independent on the temperature. Okay, now first of all what I am doing, I am drawing the graph. The graph plotted between log k versus 1 by t, log k versus 1 by t. Okay, now here the slope is negative slope. Here, okay, now what is the slope here? Minus delta H naught whole divided by 2.303 capital R. Now what is the intercept here? Log A. So finally what is the expression actually? Log K is equal to minus delta H naught whole divided by 2.303 capital R into 1 by t plus log A. This is the actual expression. This is in the form of y is equal to what? Mx plus c. Y is equal to mx plus c. Okay, now in this expression, from the slope, what is the slope given? Negative slope. So negative value cancel out. 0.5 slope is given to you, which is equal to delta H naught whole divided by 2.303 capital R. So capital R value we know, by cross multiplication we can find the delta H naught value. So delta H naught value is equal to 0.5 multiplied by 2.303 multiplied by capital R. Okay, so delta H naught is equal to finally 9.574. This will be joule per mole. This will be joule per mole. Okay, now second question, intercept. What is the intercept given here? What is the intercept given here? Log A to the base 10 given to you. How much intercept is given in the question? That is the intercept is how much? 10. So I am writing the intercept value 10. From here A is equal to anti-log, so 10 to the power 10. 10 to the power 10 is the pre-exponential frequency factor. Okay, this is the second question. Now come to third question. Here log K is equal to log A minus delta H by 2.303 capital R into T. Okay, now in this question we have to calculate the K value. So what is the log A value here? 10 minus of delta H value 9.574 whole divided by 2.303, R value in terms of joule 8.314, and what is the temperature given here? 200 and first C question number, third question, 298 Kelvin. So we have to write the temperature 298 Kelvin. Are you getting my point? So this will be 10 minus of 0.001677, that is equal to 9.998. Okay, this will be the K. Now we have to log K, now we have to calculate the K, which will be anti-log, that is 10 to the power 9.998. Shall I write? This will be 10 raised to 0.998 into 10 raised to 9. Okay, So the antilog of 0.998 will be approximately 9.96 into 10 raised to 9. This is the question number 3, third question. And fourth question, try yourself, because only the thing is the temperature changes. So we have to calculate the equilibrium constant, same as third bit. Okay. Now come to next problem. The rate of disappearance of A at two different temperatures given to you. Okay. Now in the beginning, I write one expression, that is the minus dA by dt is equal to Kf into concentration of A minus Kb into concentration of B. Yes or no? With that expression, if we compare given equation number 1, let's suppose this is the equation number, this will be the first equation, this will be the second equation. Okay. Now if we compare with that, now condition at 300 Kelvin temperature. Okay. What is the Kf here? 2 into 10 raised to minus 2. What is the Kb here? 4 into 10 raised to minus 3. Okay. Now here we know how to find the equilibrium constant. How to find the equilibrium constant? Now K equilibrium, let's suppose K1 will be rate constant of forward reaction divided by rate constant of backward reaction, that is 2 into 10 raised to minus 2 divided by 4 into 10 raised to minus 3. So 10 by 2, that is the 5. This is at 300 Kelvin. Next, one more expression is given at 400 Kelvin. That is the second expression. Now where Kf is equal to 4 into 10 raised to minus 2 and Kb is equal to 16 into 10 raised to minus 4. From here, shall we find the second equilibrium constant, that is the Kf, K2 equal to Kf by Kb, that is 4 into 10 raised to minus 2 whole divided by 16 into 10 raised to minus 4, which is equal to 25. Now we have relation between temperature and equilibrium constant. Now log of K2 upon K1 is equal to delta H whole divided by 2.303 capital R 1 by T1 minus 1 by T2. Okay. Now T1, T2 we know, K1, K2 we know, capital R value we know, so we can find the delta H value. Are you getting my point? Now log of what is that? K2 25, K1 is what? 5 is equal to delta H divided by 2.303 capital R. Now what is the temperature? T1 300. So 1 by 300 minus 1 by 400. Okay. From here, if you solve the delta H value, you will get the final answer, which is equal to 16.06 kilojoule per mole. That means R value should be taken 8.314 into 10 raised to minus 3 kilojoule mole inverse Kelvin inverse. That is depending upon the option. That is depending upon the option. Now fourth question. Listed in the table are forward and reverse reactions rate constants. Okay. For the reaction 2NO equilibrium N2 plus O2. Now two different temperatures given. So first of all, the key concept is calculate the equilibrium constant at 1400 Kelvin. At 1400 Kelvin, equilibrium constant, let's suppose K1 is equal to Kf by Kb is equal to Kf by Kb. What is the Kf given? 0.29. What is the Kb given? 1.1 into 10 raised to minus 6. Okay. If you solve this value, you will get 2.64 into 10 raised to 5. This is at 1400 Kelvin. Now at 1500 Kelvin, again we have to calculate the equilibrium constant, that is the K2, again Kf upon Kb. What is the Kf value? 1.3 upon what is the Kb value? 1.4 into 10 raised to minus 5. Now this value 0.93 into 10 raised to 5. Now you see temperature increases What about the equilibrium constant value? Decreases. That means here temperature and equilibrium constants are inversely proportional. That means it is exothermic reaction. As the temperature increases, what about the equilibrium constant value? Decreases. This is corresponding to which reaction? Exothermic reaction. Exothermic reaction. This is a very important key point. This is a very important note or key point. Be careful. As the temperature increases, K equilibrium decreases. That is exothermic reaction. And one more question in this, explain in terms of kinetics. Now here, remember, in this case, equilibrium constant, before going to calculate the equilibrium constant, now identify the rate constant. Now here, rate constant forward reaction value, rate constant of backward reaction value. Out of the Kf and Kb, which is more? Kf is more. Okay. If the rate constant increases, that means rate of a reaction increases. Rate of a reaction increases, activation energy decreases. EAF less than EAB. Are you getting my point? That means we have to know that rate of reaction inversely proportional to what? Activation energy. Lesser the activation energy, faster the rate of the reaction. Okay. Now rate constant, rate directly proportional. Okay. Now rate constant is more, that means rate of a reaction is more, that means activation energy will be less. Now we know delta H is equal to activation energy of the forward reaction minus activation energy of the backward reaction. Okay. Now here forward reaction activation energy less and reverse reaction activation energy is more. That means the resultant delta H value is negative. That means the above reaction is which reaction? Exothermic reaction. Okay. Now here one more question I am giving to you. Try yourself. Same concept we have to apply. First of all, at 1200 Kelvin calculate the equilibrium constant, and 1500 Kelvin calculate the equilibrium constant and compare the K1 and K2. If the temperature increases, okay, K2 increases,